Tottenham 0, Bayern 4, and Frank is a fraud.
Bayern Munich 4, Tottenham 0, and listen to me when I say this, we need major surgery. We need 4, maybe 5 signings before the end of the summer. Otherwise, Daniel Levy is going to let yet again another manager struggle. We don't have a wide player other than Mohamed Kudus who can actually beat their man. Thomas Frank is starting a football match with Brennan Johnson, Richarlison and Kudus as a front line. We've got a midfield who literally can't create anything because Maddison has done his ACL and is going to be out till February, and Kulusevski's not back until October. I've seen more creativity in a flipping under-9s game. We don't have anyone that can actually put the ball in the back of the net. It took Sarr from 50 yards to actually score against Arsenal. And it took a deflected goal from Brennan Johnson to score against Newcastle. None of this is Thomas Frank's fault. It's not Thomas Frank's fault that Maddison got injured, that Kulu is injured, that Solanke is injured. But Daniel Levy, you need to put your hand in your wallet now. Where's the money we put on the table for Morgan Gibbs-White? Go and buy Eberechi Eze. The guy's part of the same agency as all the Tottenham players. The guy has been given a box every single time we play Crystal Palace. Bring him in. We need a left back because we don't have significant cover for Destiny Udogie. We don't have a creative attacking midfield player who's actually fit. And we don't have a wire player who consistently runs at their fullback other than Mohamed Kudus. And we spent over £100 million on Richarlison and Dominic Solanke, and combined they had less than 15 Premier League goals last season. We need major surgery. Like, honestly, that was shite. Look, before anyone tells me we're playing Bayern Munich, I understand that. They're a bigger football club. They're a better football club on every single metric. They've got world-class players like Elise and Harry Kane. I get that. But we didn't even put up a fight today. We were toothless. How many big chances did we create? And bearing in mind, Bayern Munich scored 4 goals after missing a penalty that Harry Kane put into row Z. And they also missed 4 clear-cut chances. That should have been 6 or 7-0 as a minimum. Richarlison missed a header in the second half from 4 yards out. We don't have any firepower in our front line.
Spurs fans, that was a big yikes. Not the best way to finish off our last preseason tour in our last preseason game. It was going to be tough. It was always going to be difficult going into the Lions' Den of the Allianz Arena, facing Bayern Munich in their own place before their own season gets kicked off. But that was not the way that we wanted it to go whatsoever. I think there are very few positives to take away from it, unfortunately. And so, yeah, Dave, the question to you is, last warm-up before these games really start mattering and actually have some real consequence, doesn't look like we're ready for PSG, right?
Look, Jack, I think the thing I'm clinging on to is 2 things heading into that Super Cup game off the back of today's performance. Is one, that PSG, they haven't had any preseason friendlies. They're going into it cold feet. This will be the first game back that we can maybe catch them cold because maybe we're a little bit fitter than them and maybe a little bit more at it. But 2, I mean, it's really concerning me about Wednesday night, but my only hope is that maybe we had our foot off the gas because we are maybe thinking about Wednesday night, and maybe players want to avoid exactly what happened to James Maddison against Newcastle, which is maybe getting an injury because maybe they really want to play in it. But to be honest with you, Jack, from what I've seen in general over pre-season, Reading, we should have played them off the park. We made it look difficult. Luton couldn't break them down. Wycombe behind closed doors, conceded 2, struggled to beat them. You know, Arsenal scored a wonder goal from halfway. Can't rely on that week in, week out. Newcastle failed to, make our breakaways pay.
Yeah.
This is my instant match reaction to the Bayern Munich 4, Tottenham Hotspur 0 friendly. And I can tell you that any of the positivity and goodwill built up by that win over Arsenal out in Asia has just been decimated by a Bayern Munich side that I think it would be an understatement for me to say should maybe have won this game 9 or 10-0. That is how superior they were to an incredibly poor and one-dimensional Tottenham side who consistently could not deal with Bayern Munich's press and counter press and physicality, knocked off the ball time and time again. And I think more embarrassingly than anything else, Bayern Munich made 9 substitutions, I think, on around 64 minutes, at which point it was, at that point it was 2-0 to Bayern Munich with Harry Kane having scored one of the goals and Kingsley Coman, I think it was, scoring the other. And then, having expected with those 9 substitutes and a lot of them having been Bayern Munich's kids, Bayern then extended it to 4-0 and could have scored even more. Tottenham Hotspur to a man. I'm gonna offer up a possibility of some jet lag. We've only just returned from Asia. I'm gonna look for some positivity. I'm doing a bit of a tie from AFTV here and hoping desperately that Thomas Frank comes out and says they're all jet lagged, they're all absolutely knackered. Because if not, I really cannot give an excuse for that absolute horror show. And we play Paris Saint-Germain, the European champions, in the European Super Cup final in 6 days in Udinese. And if they turn up with those energy levels and with the system and tactics that they played against Bayern Munich today, who, by the way, Bayern Munich lost to PSG in the Club World Cup a month and a half ago or so, they will get absolutely decimated by Paris Saint-Germain.
Tottenham 0, Bayern 4, and Frank is a fraud. Frank is a fraud. How can he not make it work? The tactical genius, Mr. Versatile himself. Where was the versatility today? Where was it? Now, that's what people would want me to do. But we don't overanalyze friendlies. It's just a friendly. It's just a friendly. Yeah? Now, looking at the game, we got battered. We got battered. There's no doubt about that. We got battered. I can't hide from that. Bayern Munich deserved to win the game. And yes, Harry Kane's first goal was offside, but they had numerous of chances and numerous of times where they could have killed the game. And as we saw in the second half, they brought the kids on. They brought the kids on. And those kids scored bangers. Bangers. Like, where was our players doing that? I had to watch a first half of anti-football. 2 anti-footballers on the team. Richarlison and Johnson. They are the definition of anti-football. And you ask me what anti-football is? Players that don't like the ball at their feet. How can you be a footballer that doesn't like having the ball at your feet? You're an anti-footballer. That's what Johnson is. That's what Richarlison is. I can't bear watching these guys in my team. Daniel Levy needs to wake up and someone needs to slap his bald head to let him know we need a 10 now, yesterday, 2 weeks ago. We need a winger now, yesterday, 5 weeks ago. We need a striker to compete. Richarlison's not good enough. 60 million down the drain 3 years ago, and we're still trying to get something out of this player. We're still trying to get something out of him. Frank is having to watch this guy lead our line, and I'm the one supposed to be mad at Frank. People want me to be mad at Frank. Now, watching that first half, some people were mad, we're getting battered, the structure's not there. Like, yeah, the defensive structure looked a lot better, I would say.